Let's take a look at a deck that I've been very, very excited about, and one that's quite a lot of fun on the casual ladder on Pokemon TCG Live, and that is Hooh V featuring Shining Arcana Gardevoir. This deck is a lot of fun, but let's talk about how it works. Hooh V is a 230 HP colorless basic V Pokemon that has a very, very interesting attack. That attack is Rainbow Burn for 4 colorless energies. We deal 100 damage plus 30 more for every different energy type that we have attached to our Hooh. That means that with 4 different energy types, we can deal 220 damage, and that can potentially extrapolate out to some very, very big numbers depending on how many basic energies you can get attached to Hooh. Now the question of course is, how do we get that many basic energies on there, because 4 is quite a lot, and that is where our ability Reviving Flame comes in. Once during your turn, if your Hooh is in the discard pile, you can put it onto the bench and then accelerate up to 4 basic energy from your discard pile onto this Hooh. That is an insane ability. The only issue is if you choose to use it, your turn ends. Now this is great. We can get the Hooh into the field of play. We can have a whole bunch of energy on it. But obviously when our turn ends, we won't be able to attack. So we're going to need to use some support Pokemon to get this Hooh going. And the first one is going to be Diancie. Princess's Curtain means that as long as this Pokemon is in the active spot, your opponent cannot use supporter cards to impact Pokemon V on the bench. That means that our Hoohs are safe from our opponent's bosses as long as Diancie is in the active. That means our opponent will have to take a 1-prize knockout, and then we can promote the Hooh ready to attack. Now, 220 damage might not necessarily be enough to take a knockout, so we're going to support it, as I mentioned, with Shining Arcana Gardevoir. This, as a stage 2, is a little awkward to get into play, but once it's there, you'll be able to accelerate a ton of energy from your deck. Shining Arcana allows you once per turn to look at the top 2 cards of your deck, attach any number of basic energy that you find there to your Pokemon in any way that you like, and then put the rest of the cards in your hand. It's essentially saying draw 2 cards, if one of them is an energy, attach it anywhere you want. And that can be very, very good for Hooh to get our attacks going in the mid to late game. Now, obviously, we are going to have some problems. We can't always be using Reviving Flame. Sometimes we need to keep our energies in play in other means, and that is where a couple of really interesting cards come in: EXP Share and Jirachi V. Now, you've probably seen EXP Share before. If you've watched the channel, it's a very simple tool. Attach it to a benched Pokemon, and then when a Pokemon in the active is knocked out by damage, then EXP Share triggers, and a basic energy from that Pokemon moves to the Pokemon with EXP Share attached. But Jirachi V is a little bit different, something that you've not seen before, likely, or at least not for a very long time. Its ability, Wish Connector, is essentially an EXP Share. What it says is when one of our basic Pokemon V is knocked out by damage from an attack, then from our opponent's Pokemon, then we can move a basic energy from that Pokemon to another Pokemon. So let's think about it this way. Hooh V is in the active. We've got a Hooh V on the bench with an EXP Share. Our Hooh gets knocked out in the active. We move 1 energy because of EXP Share. Then we get to move another one because of Wish Connector. And suddenly our Hooh V is only 2 energies away from attacking again. Gardevoir can help with that. It all works seamlessly. Now, obviously, this list does ask for quite a lot, and I think it's really, really cool that we've got all these basic energies in the deck. If you want to play along, then you absolutely can. The deck list is down in the description, and if you copy it into PTCG Live, it is only going to cost you 11,965 credits at the absolute maximum. Remember, of course, that lots of the cards like Research, Quick Ball, Evo, Incense, Ultra Ball, these kind of cards you already have for free, so it's definitely going to cost you less credits than this. If you like this deck, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you could, and we will jump into some games. Maybe one game. It's actually quite a slow deck, to see how Hooh V works. Let's see if we can get ourselves a win with Hooh. I think we can manage it, but it's definitely a lot more difficult if you're playing on the standard ladder. It's definitely a deck that takes a little bit of time to get going, so you'll find that really fast decks like Lugia or Mew might overrun you a little quicker than you'd like. But we are playing against something a little slower here, which is good. We're up against a Flying Pikachu V and an Arceus V. So this very well could be the Arceus Arceus Decidueye Pikachu deck from World Championships. Obviously, Andre Scribble winning World Championships with this deck. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we are seeing. Looks like they've got a Path of the Peak that they've played down. They've got a Flying Pikachu in the active with an Energy and an Arceus on the bench. It seems like that is pretty much all that they are going to be able to do, which is ironic because we don't have a huge amount to do either. In a level ball here, we're going to grab ourselves a Ralts. And I think our Quick Ball is probably going to grab another one, to be brutally honest. We can get rid of the Evo Incense here. We might even choose to grab another Ralts instead of another attacker. What we can do here is we can attach the energy to Diancie and then use Spike Draw, which is a 1 energy attack, deals 20 damage, and then we draw 2 cards. I like that as an option here. It means that we've got ourselves a couple of extra cards to work with. The next turn, we might be able to get some energy into the discard pile, maybe a Ho-Oh into the discard pile. We'll see how we go. Now, I didn't mention, how are we actually going to get the Ho-Oh and the energy into the discard pile? Well, that's actually not too difficult. Beyond our regular discard cards like Ultra Ball, Quick Ball, Research, Serena, which is in our hand, we also have our Gardevoir engine, right? So our Gardevoir evolves from Kirlia, and Kirlia has trade. It's a good card, right? Essentially what it says is when you have a Kirlia in play, you can discard a card from your hand and draw 2 cards. Pretty simple, but it's very, very effective. And it's going to give us an opportunity to discard energies, to discard Ho-Ohs, and potentially put a Diancie in the active and get ourselves ready to go. Now, our opponent is taking quite a long time here. They are Ultra Balling and they've got a Path to the Peak in play, which means that their Arceus V-Star is not going to be the option that they hoped it might have been. Arceus V-Star obviously having its V-Star power, allowing them to search for any 2 cards in the deck. And it looks like now they're paying to remove that Path to the Peak with a Pumpkaboo, that Pumpkin Pit ability, removing stadiums from play. Obviously, the Path to the Peak not serving any purpose in this game, but also it seems like they're not doing anything else either. So maybe they have made a little bit of an error there, putting down the Path. The Pumpkaboo cannot get any extra cards. Maybe we have done ourselves a real service here. We'll see what happens. We've got a Kirlia or 2. We can Ultra Ball now. We can get rid of the Diancie and the Lightning Energy. We're going to grab that Ho-Oh. And then we are going to start by Serenaing. We're going to use the draw effect from Serena. We're not interested in using the other effect to gust up the Arceus right now. Instead, we're going to grab ourselves another Ralts here with our Level Ball and grab another Gardevoir with our Evolution Incense. We will Refinement, that's that trade ability. We'll get rid of the Steel Energy from our hand, and we have drawn into an incredible set of cards here. A Ralts, a Gardevoir, a couple of energies. We've already got 2 basic energies in the discard pile. Let's chuck those 2 in there as well. We'll grab ourselves, I think, another Kirlia. Seems fine. We'll play down our Ralts. And then, since we have 4 energy and a Ho-Oh in the discard pile, let's use Reviving Flame and put all of those energies on Ho-Oh. Right, we've got Diancie in the active. They can't use Boss's Orders to knock this out. We are in a spot now where we can theoretically get an attack off with our Ho-Oh next turn. Now, something that I've not told you is that if our opponent plays Flying Pikachu VMAX and attacks with it, then we are not going to be able to attack it with Ho-Oh. We're going to need to do something else. But luckily, Gardevoir is a stage 2 that can attack for colorless energy. We should be able to deal some damage to it, but a Flying Pikachu VMAX is definitely something that I'm afraid of. And speak of the devil, it shall appear. Max Balloon 160 will knock out our Diancie if they have the double turbo, and it will also stop our Ho-Oh from attacking. Luckily, they have not done anything. And I was about to say, luckily, we have Serena in our hand, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue. We're going to Refinement here. We're going to get rid of our Serena. We don't need that. We want to attack into the Pikachu right now. We also want to make sure that we use the Refinement before we evolve, because then we can use Refinement and Shining Arcana, which is incredibly strong. We'll give ourselves another Kirlia here. And now we can just start drawing, right? We can get rid of maybe the Kirlia. We don't need that. Jirachi's super good. I don't like the Fire Energy, though, because we've already got a Fire Energy attached. Let's actually just discard that and grab ourselves a Ho-Oh. Our opponent looking a little despondent there, not able to do too much. We are going to throw down the Air Balloon. We're going to use Professor's Research, discard a Ho-Oh, and then see what we can do. Our Grass Energy is pretty good. Shining Arcana is pretty good here. We don't get an Energy, which is really disappointing, but we can at least retreat, go into our Ho-Oh, and now we can start attacking. I think getting rid of a Ho-Oh here is probably fine. We can grab the Oranguru. We could put that down if we want to. I'm going to attach the grass, and then I think it's as simple as just Rainbow Burning. We're doing 250 damage here with 5 energies attached. It's not quite enough to take a knockout. If we had 2 more, we would have been able to get there, but unfortunately we didn't hit any energy off of that Gardevoir ability. But that's okay, because next turn, if our Ho-Oh does get knocked out, and it is weak to lightning, which is disappointment. It is disappointing. It's weak to lightning. That's upsetting. We will at least be able to get a knockout, potentially, with a Gardevoir or a Kirlia. So I'm not feeling horrible. I'm happy. I've used the Ho-Oh V. I've gotten the 4 energy from the discard pile. The Diancie served the purpose. It doesn't matter that our opponent's been bricking. Alright? I'm just going to hold my hands up. It does not matter that our opponent has been bricking. Okay? I don't care, because Ho-Oh is working, and that's the critical thing. I know that sometimes it can feel like the games go perfectly, but I will say this, you only see the games where the deck works. So if you feel like the deck's working perfectly, it's because it is in this instance. And I'll probably keep this one in, even if I lose, which is highly likely, because our opponent is about to knock us out. They've got an Arceus V-Star here. They will be able to use the V-Star ability to find 2 cards from their deck. Starbirth will probably get them a DTE, a Double Turbo Energy, and a Professor's Research, I would think. That way they can attack with Max Balloon, take the knockout, and draw a fresh hand of 7. I would be very, very surprised if those 2 cards are anything other than those. Here's the Double Turbo. There is the Professor's Research. Thank you very much. I know it's not a difficult thing to predict, but I'm happy that I've predicted it. And now the game becomes difficult. We lose 2 prizes. Our opponent is about to take 2 prizes. We are not going to be able to knock out this Pikachu because of Max Balloon's effect, which stops basics from attacking. So we're going to need to figure out a way that we can get a knockout here. Maybe it's gusting up the Arceus. Maybe our opponent gives us something that we're not expecting. Maybe they just throw out the attack and that's it. Maybe that's all that they do. And that's perfectly fine, but we've got a little work here that we need to get going. Now, we're going to promote, I think, the Gardevoir. It's got the Air Balloon on it. We don't need to stress about retreat. And we've got one of 2 options. We can either promote the Diancie at the end of the turn if we don't find what we need, or we can also go for another kind of Gardevoir turn where we throw a bunch of energies on and hope for the best. That Raihan is very, very nice. I like that. I feel like now's kind of the time that we're going to want to use Energy Recycle. I've just realized we've only got 7 cards left in our deck, so we really should be able to give ourselves a really good chance to knock out here. Let's promote, let's Raihan to the benched Gardevoir. I am going to grab myself, I think, another Guardy. Now, we've got 6 cards left in deck, including another Energy Recycler. That means that with our attachment here, I think just a second now, it's 60 plus, right? Or is it 60 times? Let's just Energy Recycler. We're going to put back a whole bunch of energies into our deck. We're going to stay with the fire in the discard pile. That's fine. And then we're going to throw a whole bunch of Shining Arcana abilities. Now, we're looking for any energy. We've just drawn into nothing there, which is a little disappointing. Let's put down the Oranguru now. We'll also go for the Evo Incense, just a thin. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. Let's go for the Shining Arcana again. Surely we can hit an energy. We'll Primate Wisdom to the top to guarantee it. We would have got the Psychic. We would have got the Psychic from the Shining Arcana. That's okay. Let's throw it down. We actually get 2 energies here, which is really, really nice. We can throw those energies onto Gardevoir, which is a very good thing to be doing. Then, I think we can probably just... we just retreat? I don't know if we just retreat and attack. I think we have to go for just the attack here. I don't want to give my opponent an attack on the bench to knock out, right? I'd much rather they knock out the Gardevoir and then we promote Diancie and try and cause some damage that way. We'll see what happens. Cape of Toughness is a very cool card to get. I like that one. So yeah, I don't want them to be knocking out 2 Ho-Oh Vs for the game. I would much rather instead that they have to take 4 knockouts. And to be fair, it is going to be tough for them with this hand to get an attack off. Trinity Nova is a 3 energy attack, and unless they play Melanie and Water Energy, they won't be able to accelerate really easily. We're about to see though, maybe they have Raihan, maybe they have Melanie. Here comes Lumineon. That'll use a Luminous Sign to be able to search for any supporter from the deck. And we'll see what that supporter is in just a second. It looks like it's a Marnie, which is actually really bad. It's actually really tough for us. Because I want to use Shining Arcana on a Ho-Oh. They've used Boss. Okay. Alrighty. This seems fine. So they're bossing. They're going to knock out something here. The question is what? They're going to knock out the Kirlia. And that I can respect, because it would give me a huge amount of extra cards to draw. Actually, they're not knocking out, they're not attacking at all. They attached to lightning. Okay, so maybe we're actually fine here. And they've thrown down a Flying Pikachu and also a Lumineon. So now we're at a point, the game changes again. If we get 4 energies on a Ho-Oh here with Serena in our hand, we can actually just gust for a knockout on one of those Pokemon, which I really, really like. Let's see how we go. We've got 3 energies in our hand. We've got an Air Balloon to put on Kirlia. We probably want to bench the Ho-Oh. We've got 1 energy in the deck and 1 energy in the discard pile, sorry, and 1 Ho-Oh. So I think it's best to just throw this one down here. I am going to Primate Wisdom and Energy to the top of the deck because I want to guarantee that I at least get 1. So we're going to Shining Arcana now. Look at the top 2 cards, and we get 2 energies, which is very, very good. We know that in the deck we have also got a copy of Energy Recycler, so drawing into that is fine. Okay, we've got lots of cards. We've got 2 cards in deck. I'm going to attach the Cape. No, I'm not going to attach the Cape. I think I'm just going to... What am I going to do? I'm going to attach the Cape. We'll give that 280 HP. Oh, I think we just attached to the Gardevoir Retreat and Attack. This is really awkward. We've got 4 energy on this Gardevoir, which is more than I'd normally have, but that's okay. We'll put the Gardevoir in the active. I don't think there's anything on their side of the field that can attack into a Ho-Oh and knock it out when it's got a big charm on it. And now we're starting to see this deck fall apart a smidge. If they take a knockout here, we put 4 energy back into the deck, which means we'll have 5 cards left. Oh my god. Okay, so we're being Marnied. That's also fine. We can just get Marnied and give ourselves a couple of turns here. A Switch, a Serena, and an Energy is actually really, really strong here. We're going to lose the Gardevoir, but we've at least got access to another chance. I'm nervous. I'm uncomfortable. They're playing down a Crobat. I reckon we've got a chance here. I reckon we've got a chance to win. I'm going to be disappointed if they evolve the Flying Pikachu, but I think it's definitely achievable. Trinity Nova will knock out the Gardevoir. They'll accelerate some energy. They'll either put it on the Pikachu or the Arceus. Those seem like the logical places to go. We've got Serena, so we've got 2 prizes on a Crobat at some point. It's all happening here. It is all happening here. Now we know that we can guarantee an attachment with our Shining Arcana because we've got a Oranguru on the bench plus an energy in hand. So we're guaranteed 1 free attachment. We do need another energy card on that Ho-Oh to attack though. So we will need 4. And the question is, do we attack into the Arceus or do we attack into whatever they accelerate their energy to? And to be brutally honest, I think it might be that. If they accelerate energy to a Pokemon and they commit them all, and it looks like they have, I think that's the Pokemon to knock out. Because I don't think that there's any way for them to attack with any other Pokemon apart from our Arceus in the active. So, let's see how we go. Our turn, we draw a Level Ball. We don't need Level Ball. I'm just going to grab the Pumpkaboo out of the deck here. And this is a card that we can just discard away with Refinement, right? We don't need it, so we're going to get rid of it. We're going to thin it out. Quick Ball and Professor's Research. Definitely not ideal. I shouldn't attach that. I should Primate Wisdom it to the top. We're going to do that. We're going to put the energy on top of the deck. We've gotten another Gardevoir. Okay. So we can Shining Arcana. we can get ourselves an energy. We'll draw another card. That's an Energy Recycler. We've got another Gardevoir here. So what I can do is I can Energy Recycler 5 energies back into the deck. We'll go with 5 different energies, or 4 different ways. We may as well just go for 5 because we need an extra energy. That means that 5 out of 7 of our cards in there are energies. Now we're Shining Arcana again. Hopefully we hit 1, and we do, which is brilliant. We've also got the Zinnia, which I'm not sure that we're going to use this game. We're going to retreat into our Ho-Oh, and then I think their Arceus on the bench is never going to be able to knock us out. So we're going to Rainbow Burn into the Arceus in the active and take 2 prizes. And now, assuming that nothing crazy happens, we should, in theory, be able to win the game. Now, we do lose to the very specific but very possible Energy Switch DTE attack. And also Flying Pikachu to guarantee it. That we almost definitely lose to. But to be brutally honest, I am feeling relatively comfortable that as long as our hand remains the same, we should be able to get ourselves an attack off here. And then if we can do that, we should be fine to win the game. It looks like they're throwing all of their cards at me right now. They're looking for the Arceus V-Star. If they can find a Marnie, then it makes it just that little bit harder for us, because we'll draw into every single energy in our deck. We won't be able to Refinement to accelerate anymore if they Marnie. But if they don't Marnie, then we can simply use Serena to gust out either the Crobat, or the Flying Pikachu, or the Fish, the Lumineon V, and take the knockout there. To be brutally honest, we can knock out the Decidueye as well, I think. So we're feeling pretty good as long as they don't Marnie us. Okay. Well, that's actually not that big of a deal, because even though we are drawing a bunch of energies, we at least have 6 more cards to look at. So we've got a very, very good chance to win the game still. I think it's about 2 and 3. We're going to top deck a card, we're going to be able to use Gardevoir twice, and we're also going to be able to use our Oranguru. So hopefully our 2 and 3 chance to win the game works out, and you can see why thinning out cards is really important. It means that you have a chance to win, even in situations where maybe other people wouldn't. So, feeling pretty good here, although I will say I'm not necessarily happy with our situation, but it's going to be fine. Let's see if we can draw some cards. We are going to go looking for this Serena. It's a 1 in 9 chance. That's all that we have to do it. Let's draw. Our turn, we draw into an extra energy. We knew that was happening. Now, I'm going to Primate Wisdom. We're going to put an energy on top of the deck, because we may as well just draw into that energy, right? We may as well just Shining Arcana and draw into the energy and attach it. So I'm definitely going to do that. That takes me... Actually, oh my goodness, we just got the Serena as well. I was about to say, I actually think that if we just attach an energy now, we win. I think we just attack into the Arceus for 280 now. We do. We can just Rainbow Burn the Arceus. Well, there you go. Here I was sitting here going, well, actually, we can Serena and we can win the game. How about we just knock out an Arceus V-Star? Seems like a pretty good option, and it seems like a pretty good deck. Thanks, everyone, for watching. If you want to see another one, it's up there. We'll catch you next time. Appreciate you. Bye.